catering them, or simple it.
Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Whether you're new here, welcome to the channel. We are Glasgow Ghost Hunters. I'm Pedro, I'm one half of Glasgow Ghost Hunters, Debs is the other half. Today we're going to look at a YouTube video called 7 Scariest Ghost Photographs Ever Taken. This is by a channel called Scary Raven. Scary Raven's description is: the Ravens have seen everything: ancient horrors, forgotten mysteries, stories history tried to bury. At Scary Ravens, we uncover disturbing true events, unsolved mysteries, creepy discoveries, dark history, lost media, paranormal encounters, internet mysteries. You'll notice that they've got 109k subs, and they've been on YouTube since 2023. So let's look at this video that they are saying are the 7 scariest photos. So the first one is called The Man Behind Grandma. So the story to this is basically they took a photo of their grandma, and then years later they discovered that there was a person behind them. But let's talk through it as it goes.
The Man Behind Grandma. In 1997, Denise Russell visited her grandmother at the assisted living facility where she had recently moved.
You'll notice here that the photograph was heavily zoomed in, and you couldn't see anything behind him. As the story progresses, you'll see what they discovered.
During the visit, the family enjoyed a picnic together. Wanting to capture the moment, Russell took a simple photograph of her grandmother sitting alone. Nothing seemed unusual, and no one noticed anything strange, and the day went on exactly as expected. For more than 3 years, no one gave the picture a second thought. Then,
now bear in mind that these pictures were taken on like Polaroids or film, so we'll discuss that as well.
On Christmas Day in 2000, everything changed. While looking through old family photographs, one relative noticed something standing directly behind Russell's grandmother, who had since passed away. It appeared to be the figure of an older man.
Here, this is what they're saying now. It's a figure that looks possibly his shoulder, his neck, his head there. They'll also see that there is a face in the trees here as well. The face in the trees, I believe, is visual pareidolia. But this here, there's a couple of options. In our opinion, it's either double exposure or someone has walked into the shot and they didn't notice.
The family immediately believed that they recognized him. According to Russell, the figure bore a remarkable resemblance to her grandfather, a man who had died over a decade before the photograph was taken.
Now if you look here, this photograph of the granddad there they're showing is a pretty decent photograph, but to compare it to the man standing behind the lady, that photograph's not the quality that you can make that comparison in our opinion.
When the mysterious figure was compared with photographs of Russell's grandfather taken during his lifetime, many believed that the similarities were difficult to ignore. But the apparent ghostly man isn't the only strange detail that people claim.
This is about as on about here, visual pareidolia. I don't think it's anything more than that, and if you read the comments, some people are saying this light here on top of the red truck is also another ghost, but again I think that's just light flare.
Plain to see. Some viewers have pointed to another figure standing near the red car in the background. They describe what appears to be a dark, shadow-like silhouette standing near the
It's Skeletor!
vehicle. Others believe it might just be the trees. Skeptics have offered a more conventional explanation for the photograph as a whole. Some believe that the older man may have simply been an unidentified visitor that was standing farther behind the bench.
Being the fact that they're in an assisted living facility, that could possibly be the explanation that, like I said, they've walked into view.
Due to the nature of the photograph, there was no opportunity to recreate the scene or determine determine exactly who or what had been standing there on that day. Almost 30 years later, the image remains one of the most famous family ghost photographs ever taken. Whether it captured the unexpected presence of a departed loved.
Right, next photograph. This one's called A Woman on the Gravestone.
Don't miss out on cheap flights this summer. Compare prices on kayak to find the latest deals. Barcelona. Never, and I mean never say, sorry to bother you. Sorry to bother you.
Just southwest of Chicago, hidden deep within a quiet forest preserve, lies Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. The small cemetery dates back to the 1840s and contains less than 100 graves. For decades, it has become known for something far more unusual than its size. Locals have long reported seeing glowing lights weaving through the trees.
You'll notice in the background there there's a road, so possibly the glowing lights that they've seen are cars going past, or possibly people just walking past with torches. They are outside after all, that's one of the logical explanations.
Shadowy figures have disappeared behind the headstones. And perhaps most famously, a mysterious woman dressed entirely in white.
This photograph here was taken on infrared film and a normal like 35mm camera, right? This is too solid to be anything but a lady sat there.
The stories became so widespread that Bachelor's Grove eventually earned a reputation as one of the most haunted cemeteries in America. In August of 1991, members of the Ghost Research Society visited the cemetery hoping to...
Because you'll see there's a photograph there just past the tree. That is just a lady sat there in her opinion. There's nothing ghostly or paranormal about that. They go on to say that the lady that took the photograph didn't see anything there when she took the photograph, but that's possible. I've taken photographs myself and not seen someone in the background until I've looked at the photograph, and having to wait for these to be developed, you're not going to know. The next one, we'll move on to the next clip.
Time before returning home. Among them was a squadron of the Royal Air Force.
Now this is taken on a vintage old camera during the First World War.
The men assembled for what they believed would be just an ordinary group photo. They stood shoulder to shoulder, and the camera shutter clicked, and the moment was preserved forever. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual. But after the photograph was developed, several members of the squadron...
If you look behind them there, they're saying that they reckon that's a member of Squadron. A Squadron member that had died on the previous mission. However, to me it's double exposure, because if you look, the faces look to say, okay, there's no heart in the back one, but the photograph's that blurry and there's that much pixelation in there. I believe, because of the old style of camera, I believe that is just him on a double exposure.
Noticed a face peering from behind one of the officers. The man appeared calm, almost as though he had intentional...
Because if you look, same mouth expression, same eye placement, it's that pixelated in the background, you can't see the heart. So to me, with that close up, it's double exposure.
The SS Watertown Ghost Faces.
This one is interesting. We'll discuss it when...
In December of 1924, the oil tanker SS Watertown was making its way through the Pacific Ocean towards the Panama Canal. Like many merchant ships of the era, life aboard was physically demanding and often very dangerous. During the voyage, two crew members, James Courtney and Michael Meehan, were assigned to clean one of the ship's cargo tanks. While working, the men were overcome by toxic fumes. Despite desperate efforts by the crew sea the very next day.
Yeah, I was going to say that is a tradition back then anyway, to bury the dead at sea. They would wrap them up and then just basically put them overboard and let the sea deal with them. So,
for most crews, that would have been the end of the story. But, according to those aboard the Watertown, it wasn't. Just one day after the burial, crew members reported seeing something strange in the water alongside the ship. Floating.
I mean, if we look at this is apparently the water, right? And apparently there's a face here and a face here, and someone was also saying there's a face there next to the guy on the left hand side, but the quality of that photo, I think it's visual pareidolia, and it could possibly be the way the light is reflecting on the water.
Just beneath the surface were what appeared to be the faces of Courtney and Mian. Witnesses claim that the faces followed the ship for several miles before finally disappearing beneath the waves. At first, many assumed that it was nothing more than grief playing tricks on their minds. Then the faces reappeared again. And again.
That could be also the state of mind that the crew members are in, because they've lost 2 crew members, so grief could play a part in it, and if they want to see the faces in the water, they're going to see them, but to me that doesn't look anything more than... Yeah, to me that's nothing more than visual pareidolia. This next one is the Tulip staircase.
Inside the Queen's house in Greenwich, England, stands one of the most elegant staircases ever built. Known as the Tulip staircase, its graceful spiral design has attracted visitors for centuries. In 1966, retired Canadian clergyman Reverend Ralph Hardy visited the historic building while on vacation. Like countless tourists before him, he stopped to photograph the staircase before continuing on his tour. Nothing seemed unusual. The staircase was quiet. No one appeared to be climbing the steps. Hardy snapped a single photograph and thought nothing of it. It wasn't until a film was developed that he noticed something extraordinary. Ascending the staircase appeared to be a shadowy figure. Its form looked almost transparent.
As you can see by the quality of this photograph, it's pretty bad. They're saying that this is the sort of shadowy figure here, but if you look, there's 2 sets of hands, one there, possibly there. It's probably nothing more than the light and the really bad sort of cameras back then. However, another theory is someone's actually stepped onto the stairs just as a photograph was being taken without the photographer noticing.
One hand seemed to grasp the railing as it climbed upward. Hardy insisted that no one had been on the staircase when he took the photograph. The image quickly garnered international attention. Experts reportedly examined the original negative and found no obvious signs of tampering or double exposure.
Well, that's quite interesting, because as it says here, experts have said there's no signs of tampering or double exposure, but it could be lighting, or as I've said, maybe somebody did step onto the staircase and just wasn't noticed at the time.
Some believe that the photograph had captured one of the many ghosts long rumored to haunt the Queen's house. Over the years, staff and visitors have reported hearing unexplained footsteps echoing through the building. Others have claimed to see figures dressed in centuries-old clothing wandering the halls before vanishing without a trace. Skeptics, however, remain unconvinced. Some suggest that the image could simply show another visitor that entered the staircase at just the right moment. Others point to lighting, motion blur, or limitations of film photography as more likely explanations.
That's the sort of line I would go down there. I'd kind of go down the same line as the skeptics.
Because only one photograph captured the figure, determining exactly what appeared on the staircase has proven nearly impossible. Nearly 60 years later, the Tulip staircase ghost remains one of Britain's most famous and most debated paranormal photographs. The Newby church monk.
This is quite an interesting one, this Newby church monk. I've seen it before on other programmes that I've watched. I've also seen it online, and personally I don't know what to make of this one, so I'll let you decide.
If you sit more than 6 hours a day, you need this cushion. I bought this ergonomic.
In 1963, Reverend K.F. Lord visited Newby Church in North Yorkshire, England. Like many visitors to historic churches, he brought along a camera to capture the building's centuries-old architecture. The church itself was quiet. Sunlight filtered through the stained glass windows. Nothing appeared out of the ordinary. As Reverend Lord...
As you'll also see here with this coloured picture of it, all the stained glass windows there, there's a pole here. It's possible, I think, once we see the photograph, that maybe somebody was stood there and there's been a little bit of maybe double exposure or just a trick of the light.
Photographed the altar, he had no reason to believe he was capturing anything unusual. It wasn't until the film was developed that the mystery began. Standing near the altar was what appeared to be a towering hood.
This is what they're on about here. A towering sort of monk with a face mask on.
Figure. The dark shape resembled a monk dressed in long robes, its face hidden beneath a shadowed hood. More unsettling still, the figure appeared to stand at nearly 9 feet tall. The photograph quickly spread.
It's quite an interesting photograph, and like I say, I don't know what it could be, so I'm not going to make any judgments on it. I'm not going to. The next one is. How to find it?
The Newby Church monk remains one of the most recognizable ghost photographs ever taken. The Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. Few ghosts.
This is supposedly a ghost lady caught on the stairs, right? Again, you'll see this the pixelation because of the age and the type of equipment they used back then. In my opinion, I agree with experts on this one. They believe it's the way the lighting and that is.
Photographs achieved fame, like the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. Photographers Captain Hubert C. Provand and Indre Shira were visiting Raynham Hall, a historic estate in Norfolk, England, on assignment for Country Life magazine. The day had been uneventful. The photographers spent hours documenting the home's elegant interiors. As they prepared to photograph the mansion's...
If you actually look there in this photograph, there actually looks like a pair of legs there as well. That I didn't notice that until now. Could it be a reflection of their legs? I don't know, but this staircase here, is apparently the staircase where as they call it, the Brown Lady was seen on. And you'll see there's a window there, there's lights there, I believe there's a window above as well, so...
Grand staircase. Something unexpected reportedly caught their attention.
Yeah. There's a window there as well, look, so you've got light coming in there, you've got these lights here, light probably, yeah, that's the same window there, so you've got light shining off here, you can see where it's reflecting there, so, yeah.
According to Shira, he suddenly noticed what appeared to be a pale figure descending the...
If you also look, there seems to be lens flare or light flare coming down from there, same as you can see it there, so I think with a combination of all that, this is what this is caused. It's not an apparition, it's the light.
Stairs, he immediately called out to Provand. Without hesitation, the captain raised his camera and released the shutter. The resulting photograph appeared to show a translucent woman draped in flowing clothing, slowly making her way down the staircase. The image quickly became known.
Again, you wouldn't know if that was going up or down because there isn't really any real features to say is it going up or is it coming down.
As the Brown Lady. According to local legend, the ghost was believed to be Lady Dorothy Walpole. Lady Dorothy lived at Raynham Hall during the early 18th century. Legend claims she was confined to the estate by her husband after an alleged affair. Although historians continue to debate many aspects of the story, reports of a ghostly woman inside the mansion had circulated for generations before the famous photograph was ever taken.
It could just be folklore and they've tied that picture to it. We don't actually know.
The publication of the image transformed the local legend into an international phenomenon. Believers viewed the photograph as some of the strongest evidence that was ever captured of a genuine apparition. Skeptics have proposed several alternatives. Some believe that the figure was created by a long camera exposure combined with somebody walking down a staircase.
Yeah, that's another possibility, because they did something like that, I don't know who I saw it, but they did something like that in Most Haunted, where they claimed they'd caught a ghost and it was actually Stuart walking up the stairs, and they dropped the opacity on it as they were doing it. I mean, they didn't have that technology back then to do that with videos, but it could be done with photography tricks, because remember, even before Photoshop, they could play tricks with photos.
Others have suggested reflections, lighting conditions, or limitations of early photographic equipment that produced the ghostly appearance. Despite decades of analysis, no single explanation has ever been universally accepted. Whether the brown lady was an elaborate photographic illusion, a trick of the light, or something that science has yet to explain, the image remains one of the world's most famous ghost photographs.
So, that was 7 of the scariest ghost photos ever captured, apparently. Some of them were quite interesting, but I think most of them can be explained through logic, as we said, as we discussed in the video. However, I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you liked this video, please like it, and considering if you haven't already, subscribing to the channel, and we will see you in the next video.